Hello, and welcome to our next session in dialogue training. This one is entitled Sharing Cases with Subject Matter Experts and Contractors. It should be a pretty quick session. So let's start with just reviewing some key concepts related to case ownership, really, and the difference between when you share and when you transfer. So cases are owned by designated owners, and those are generally queues, like a Region 1 queue or a Region 4 queue or a headquarters queue, or customer service representatives. There are certainly some exceptions to that, like communications managers and Cora and that sort of thing, but generally queues and CSRs are designated owners of the case. Owners can share the case with other dialogue users, such as subject matter experts, contractors, or even other CSRs, while still retaining ownership of the case. And that's important because that's a key differentiator between sharing and transferring. If I transfer, I lose ownership. If I share, I just add other people to the case that I retain, that I still own. Sharing is different than transferring because the case owner retains ownership and therefore access to the case. So if you transfer the case, then you have lost your ownership. Once you share, you'll need to alert the person you wish to have view the case via the case notes feed. And then finally, if you're transferring the responsibility of ownership of the case, this would be something that you would want to do, like if you had a Cora issue, you would use the transfer option instead because you wouldn't want to retain the responsibility for the case. So you share when you want to retain responsibility for the case, but you want other people to look into it and potentially comment or change it. So let's take a look. So sharing a case, we're going to go into Dialog right now, and if you want to follow along in your job aids, you can do so on page 11. We're going to share cases with subject matter experts and then also with contractors. So we'll do two scenarios, and then in both scenarios, we'll talk about how you might alert those with whom you've shared the case notes. So let's go in and take a look. So I'm in Dialog right now, and I'm in my open cases, which means that I'm just looking at those that I own. I have one called the malfunctioning traffic signal, and I want to share this with my traffic SME. And in this case, my traffic SME is going to be Gina Talmadge. So just for training purposes. So the first thing that you want to do when you share is know the person that you're going to share it with. And you'll want to display your case and make sure that you're viewing case details, which is really where it lands, so that shouldn't be too tricky to do. On the case details, there's a series of buttons like closing case, sharing, accepting, editing, transferring. Those are familiar to you, I'm thinking, by now. And then you click the sharing button. And from there, you will add the person's name and grant them access. So when the screen defaults to public groups, but you're going to want to choose this little drop-down list option and scroll all the way down to the users. And then you can either use this handy little search box and type in Gina, or you can just scroll down in alphabetical order and choose it. And then once you've highlighted the person or people, yes, you can hold down the control key or the shift key if you have multiple people, but you want to add that. I'm just going to add Gina for this scenario. And then once you've shared that, you can do others and add them, and you can remove using these two buttons. And then finally, you will determine the type of case access that you want somebody to have. So here's my read write. I'm going to choose save. And now I have shared the case with Gina. So what has happened at this point is that the case is now available for Gina to see. She, in her cases list views, just like you, she has one called All Open Cases. And when she clicks on her All Open Cases, she will be able to see all of the cases. 2061 is the one that we had there. She'll be able to see this in her list as well because now she has access to it. So your All Open Cases drop-down list allows you to view anything that's open that you own and anything that's open that has been shared with you. So that's an important list view for you to consider. So back to our case, one thing that sharing does not do is give Gina an automated alert that she has this case for her. So if you're in a hurry and you don't want her just to wait for her to monitor her queue, it's actually probably a very courteous best practice for you to go ahead and write a case note. So once again, back on your case, you can click just on the case up here if you want to, but find it in whatever way you know. And then click on the Write Case Note tab. And from here, you're going to write, uh, you're going to use that at symbol. So, hi at Gina. Notice that I put this at here because what that's going to do is trigger an email alert to her. FYI, case 2061 is, whoops, 2061 is a malfunctioning signal. Can you help? So I always, it's a best practice to put the case number along with the at symbol because that just saves the other person time. So if you did say, hi, by the way, I assigned a case to you, they could go into their all cases view, but it might be easier for you to just provide them with the case number and then they can search for it by number in their search box, or it'll just be easier for them to narrow it down within their list views. So I'm going to go ahead and put test behind this just in case Gina gets an email, and then I'll choose share. And now she not only has access to it, but she also has an email in her inbox alerting her of the share. I should note that some people will be using not only the email in the inbox is nice, but you can also view those types of alerts within your chatter. So you can choose chatter, and then you have a chatter feed that shows all of these types of things. I don't have any going on for me right now, but any incoming chatter you might have. And then there's also the option that you may explore, which is called the chatter desktop, which is really generally in your lower right-hand corner. But in those three ways are ways that you can see any alerts that are coming your way. Okay, so the next one that we wanted to talk about was how to alert a contractor. So let's go back to our Cases tab. And from here, I'm going to go to My Open Cases, because that's where I started from last time. This is my queue. These are the cases that I'm working on. And let's say that I got a case, in this case it's number 2148, where I have cones all over the place on Highway 36. So I clicked on Highway 36, and I have cone, or I can view my case details. So here's my case details. And after I read through it, I want to make sure, the one most important thing that I want to make sure of is that I have the project associated here. So at the time that you're entering the case, you may not have that project. So let's go ahead and edit it so you can see where to do that. So to update the project or to include the project, you're going to go down to the Project tab. I'll go ahead and take this out. And then you'll have to click the magnifying glass if you don't know the name of the project by heart, but click the magnifying glass. And that will give you a list of all of the different projects. Right now we have a short list, but that will definitely be expanding. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the US 36 Express Lanes project because that's what our person said. And then I'm just going to go ahead down here and choose Save. Okay. So now that I've done that, I've got my project assigned, and I don't know, maybe I want to do a little research on the project. So just like when you are looking up a contact, you can click on a project, and it will open it up in a different tab, and it'll say, oh, okay, let's look at the project detail. Oh, okay, so it's active, it's in Region 1. Oh, it's the contractor is CIG, and here's a website, here's information about it. So this project information might be helpful for you. And we're hoping that there's a project manager identified in each project that we set up because that's the person who you will probably @message when you alert them that you have just assigned a case to them or shared a case with them. So researching the project is a good next step. Then we'll go back to our case details, and we want to share the project, or share the case with the project contractor. So I'm going to choose sharing again, just like we did before. This time I'm going to choose add. And instead of choosing users like we did the last time, we are going to choose portal roles and subordinates. And this is because the contractors are going to be coming into Dialog using a slightly different access that we call the portal. So we want to look up people who are involved in the portal roles and subordinates. So remember, we looked up the project and we saw that it was CIG, the Communication Infrastructure Group, that was the project owner or responsibility. So we're going to add that, and we are going to grant access to them, and we're going to give them, in this case, read-write access because we're going to let them take care of that case. And then I'll choose Save. And now, again, I have shared this case with them, but I'm probably going to want to alert them by writing a case note if I know the project manager's name. Let's say in this case it's Josh Johnson. So I'll say @Josh, and I'll choose my partner, Josh Johnson. See how it said partner behind it? New FYI, I just shared case number 2148 with you. Please take a look and help to resolve. Okay. And so after I've done that, Josh doesn't have access because he's not actually the project manager, but that gives you an idea. And I'm going to go ahead and choose share, and that would share the comment, and then you have now completed that. So let's just kind of go back and take a quick look at our case. Here's our case details, and we have now shared it with our contractor, and then we wrote a case note to alert them. All right, so we talked about sharing cases with subject matter experts. We used Gina Talmadge's example when we were sharing some information about a malfunctioning traffic signal. And then we shared a case with a contractor because we had a case about cones all over the place in the express lane. And then we also talked about how you would use the case tab, case comments tab, to alert those with whom you've shared the case using case notes and using the @ function. So again, if you need to review this, go ahead and look at your job aids on page 11, and I think that wraps it up. Now you know how to share a case with a subject matter expert or contractor using Dialog. Thank you.